Hey friends! This week, instead of putting it all into an email, I'm just going to talk at the camera like we're having a conversation. So, in Detriggered School Year Edition, something that came up in the registration questions was transitions. Transitions from home to school, transitions from pickup to dinner time, transitions just to a new schedule. And so I just want to take a moment to invite you to think about a time in your life where a big change occurred, and it's not really a change that you wanted, it's not a change that you were looking for, it just changed. And before we move on with tools, I just want to give you a moment to think about how that felt. When you had no say over this change. I think before we move on, it's important to realize that oftentimes our kids are not given a choice in their schedule or the things that they are signed up for or sent to do in a day, right? They might not have had a choice about their school. They might not have a choice about you working and having to drop them off at before care. They might not have a choice about their lunch or their dinner or even their breakfast, right? So I think before we even talk about what to do to help with transitions, I think it's important to start with empathy. It's important for us to start by saying, yeah, it must be rough. They are living in this world where adults are defining everything for them. And as much as we try, as hard as a lot of us work at providing choices and not saying no all the time, giving our kids space to explore, it is still going to be tricky to be a child in a grown-up's world. So try and start with empathy and see where they might be coming from first. And now we'll kind of jump into some tools to help. So if you joined Detriggered School Year Edition, you saw an example of my routines posters, and not only that, but also the check mark sheets, the star charts for my kids of the things that they need to do each day, which are totally simple things that people would be expected to do every day, that they earn check marks to earn money for, right? So those are basic tools, right? A routine sheet, a star chart. My daughter's 4, my son is 8. So think about what's appropriate for their age, right? The other thing is a visual schedule. When you get like kids younger than 4, pictures of what their day is going to look like. First, we're going to wake up and get dressed. Then we're going to eat breakfast. Then we're going to brush our teeth. Then we're going to go to school. You're going to see Miss Lucy or whoever their teacher is, right? And then that gives them at least an idea of what's going on, right? Especially when we talk about kids younger than 4. They're not going to have the same abilities in predicting their daily schedule, right? 3 and younger, that gets tricky. They don't have a clear sense of time or even the days of the week. Even my 4-year-old, will ask in the morning, is this a school day, right? So I think that that's important to remember, is that they don't even necessarily know what's coming, even if you do the same routine day after day. So that's the second part. We talked about routine charts, right? Routine charts and the visual schedule are similar, right? But when we are using that same rhythm day after day, it gives the kids some predictability. So the more consistent you can be, the easier your day-to-day scheduling is going to be. So let's pull up a couple more questions here. Okay? So figuring out how school works into our lives again. So part of this is looking at your schedule, what you want your life to look like. How do you want the flow to be for your kids? Do you want them to have an activity every night? For me personally, we limit it to one activity per kid per night. So a lot of this is getting yourself organized and your own schedule set up, right? Okay, so the transitions, getting ready to go to school, the biggest thing that's going to help there is that they know the routine and they have some kind of visual support to guide them through that. Getting home from school is another time to have routine and grace, right? Because the thing is when they're getting home from school, especially early on in the school year, they're exhausted. They have been doing summer stuff all summer, and now you're putting them back into this environment that can be kind of taxing. And if we have kids who have any kind of neurodivergence, there might be some masking, right? Where they are putting on this face all day to be a good student, to be a good friend, to maybe fit in with their peers. And so it's important to remember that when they get home, they might need some downtime and they might be hangry. And so you will just have to kind of get in touch with your kid and say, maybe go through HALT. Are they hungry? Are they angry? Are they lonely? Are they tired? And just remembering not to take it personally. Okay, so get their needs met so that you guys can move forward from there, because nobody's nice when they're tired or hungry, right? So then the other thing that I do want to address is this time between pickup and dinner. This time for a long time was a real struggle in our house. And one thing that I will say that we have been doing since my kids were little, like 2, and even when they were like below 2, maybe like 18 months to 2, this was their TV time. And I know no screens before 2 or whatever, right? But I know some of you are letting your kids watch Miss Rachel anyway, right? For us, it was signing time. And I highly recommend signing time. One of my best friends is like, your kids talk so early because of signing time. And I'm like, dude, it's because I have been telling my kids everything that I am doing. I've been scripting my whole life since the day they were born. But I digress. She credits signing time, and that is fine. Signing time's amazing. I would just put it on for as long as I needed. It was really a strategic screen time to help me get dinner prepared. After about 18 months, they can start doing some fine motor play. And fine motor play, they can do it in their high chair, at the kitchen table, on the floor in a safe space where they're not going to be underfoot. But fine motor play takes this level of concentration that will automatically bring the noise level in the home down, right? And this is all assuming that they've had enough large motor play on like playgrounds and running and moving their bodies. But fine motor play is where they are doing things with their fingers, right? It's things like sand, which some of these things that I'm going to list, you do have to be supervising your child. Some of them are hazards, right? So examples of fine motor play would be things like kinetic sand, those little things that go together. I don't even remember what they're called, but kids can play with those rings. They can play with the container play. So any container that they can put things in and out of. And especially as they get better dexterity with an opening to put the item in. So almost like a big piggy bank. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to think of some good other fine motor play, but even things like paint, right? Even if it's a messy activity, that is a good thing for them to be doing, and just for you to know, okay, the house might be destroyed in this 30 minutes that I'm making dinner. The house or their high chair, whatever space that you have them contained safely in, right? But I will have made dinner, right? And so I think that's my biggest tip for that time between pickup and dinner. It is like snack them up, let them be restful, meditative, and or fine motor. So if you have any questions about getting into the school year, having a detriggered school year where you are able to run your household with ease, with feeling like, I won today. I did not shout at all. I got through the morning drop off without yelling. I got through dinner time and that awkward time between pickup and dinner without yelling. I'm the best mom in the world. So if you have any questions on how to create that or what's been coming up for you, you can drop it in the comments below. Or if you're getting this video in an email, you can reply to the email. Bye.